This is Steve Notley with the field engineering team here at Wallaroo AI, and today we're going to be looking at an example around deploying a semantic segmentation model using Wallaroo. This model takes microscopy images as input and is meant to segment the regions that are predicted to be mitochondria from the rest of the image. The first thing we're going to do is import the libraries that we need for this example and then authenticate to our Wallaroo cluster. I can use the wallaroo.client object in order to open a connection to my cluster. This will output a URL that I can use to successfully authenticate as well. Next, I can create the workspace that I'm going to use for this project, as well as the pipeline that's eventually going to hold my model and be deployed. I give them both names and define a couple helper functions to work with them here. Now I'm ready to actually deploy my model. The first thing I'm going to do is specify the hardware configuration for my deployment, including the number of replicas, CPUs, and amount of memory. Then I can actually upload my model to the Wallaroo cluster, create a pipeline around it, and deploy it with that configuration. I can see here that this will take 45 seconds or less, and we'll return this OK as soon as it successfully deploys. At this point, my pipeline is out in production, fully deployed, and ready to receive inference, so we can go ahead and test it out. Now we define a couple helper functions for this process. The first one just pre-processes the image to the size and shape that our pipeline expects. And the second actually wraps around the pipeline.infer function that goes ahead and passes this input to our pipeline and gets those inference results back. Now we can use these functions to loop through a few of our sample images, see the masks that are returned from our production pipeline, and compare them to some ground truths to see how our model's doing. We can see that the results returned from our model are very close to what we were expecting to see, and we can confirm that it performs the same in production as it does offline as we would expect. This means that we've successfully translated this model to production, and we're now ready to send it its full volume of inferences. Finally, if I want to bring this pipeline down out of production to return resources to the pool, I can do this with the pipeline.undeploy function. In this example, we've seen how we can use the Wallaroo platform to go from a saved semantic segmentation model to one that's performing inferences in production. And we've done that in just a few lines of code. If you want to try out this example yourself, you can find it under the Wallaroo tutorials section on our documentation site. You'll find it under the model cookbook section.